I'm not sure if I liked what I wrote or not, but I hope you guys enjoy it. I don't own anything but the plot. Did ya get the email yet? Don't rush me, Samu. I'm gonna open it right now. Atsumu grips his phone tightly, anticipation bubbling in his chest. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and open it. Suna's voice cuts in, dry but expectant. With a shaky breath, Atsumu swipes on the notification. The words flash across the screen. Congratulations, Miya Atsumu. We would love to have you in our team. His heart soars. I did it. I got accepted. Atsumu beams, eyes quickly scanning the rest of the message. They said I can start playing for the team right after graduation. Osamu ruffles his twin's hair with a proud, smug grin. I always knew you'd get in. You're annoying as hell, but you've always had the skill. Yeah, scrub. Suna joins in, tousling Atsumu's hair even more aggressively. You little rascal, looks like we're gonna be rivals now. MSBY is gonna whoop your EJP Ragin team's ass. Atsumu says smugly, to which Suna only scoffs at. You wish. Seriously, this is amazing. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't play volleyball or be with ya guys. Then hurry up and come back here. Wait, that line doesn't feel right. Atsumu doesn't remember Osamu ever saying that. Before he can dwell on it, the world around him starts to blur, voices fading and colors bleeding together. Then, a distant voice reaches him. Atsumu-sama? Atsumu-sama, it's time to wake up. The voice is soft and gentle, but unfamiliar, too formal, too respectful. Atsumu's eyes snap open. He bolts upright, breath catching in his throat. His bedroom is gone. No Osamu, no Suna, no familiar clutter, any volleyball gear, or signs of his own room anywhere. Instead, he's in a spacious, unfamiliar room draped in white and gold. The walls shimmer faintly, and everything smells like roses and clean linen. At the edge of the bed stands a girl in a pristine maid uniform, head bowed low. You must quickly get dressed. Atsumu-sama, today is your engagement ceremony. His Majesty is calling for you. It takes him a second to catch up, her words sinking in slowly. Atsumu presses a hand to his face as it all comes rushing back. Right, he's not in Japan anymore. He's not in his world. He'd been transported here, to this bizarre world where he's now engaged to a man he barely knows, Sakusa Kiyumi. He's supposed to marry him tomorrow, a total stranger and a total asshole. But if it means that he can quickly go back home, then he'll do anything. He has a whole volleyball career waiting for him. His friends and family probably are worried about him too. He needs to hurry up and make Sakusa fall for him. Lost in thought, he barely flinches when a glowing screen flashes to life in front of him.
Warning. The capture target is impatiently waiting for you. Proceed to the dining hall fast.
Atsumu just woke up and he's already being nagged by this shitty system. I get it already. I'm going. The screen doesn't disappear.
Then hurry up and get your lazy ass out of bed.
You're more annoying than Samu. Atsumu mutters under his breath, flinging the covers off. The maid beside him shifts slightly, looking at him concerned. Atsumu-sama, is there something wrong? The maid eyes him like he'd lost his mind, and honestly, maybe he had. From her perspective, he probably looked like he was arguing with thin air. Atsumu then internally cringes at the stiff formality of his name. Ever since he's been declared as Sakusa's consort, everyone has been overly formal and polite with him. He's not used to being treated so respectfully. Sorry, nothing's wrong. Just talking to myself. That's all. The maid bows slightly, clearly still unconvinced but too polite to push further. If you'd allow me, I'll help you get dressed before you go see His Majesty. Before Atsumu could protest, the maid had already pulled out an outfit draped in deep burgundy with delicate black detailing. It looked fancy and complicated to wear. Just looking at the dozens of tiny buttons and layered fabric made his head hurt. It was probably going to take him an hour just to figure out which part went where. Do I really gotta wear this? His Majesty personally chose your outfit, Atsumu-sama. Of course he did. Well, Atsumu just resigned himself to the inevitable. If this helped him get Sakusa to fall for him faster, he'll get it over with. Mind helping me get dressed? As you wish, Atsumu-sama. She moved with practiced efficiency, guiding him through the maze of fabric and fastenings. Atsumu tried not to flinch when she adjusted the high collar or tugged at the cuffs. He felt like a life-sized dress-up doll. When she stepped back, Atsumu caught sight of himself in the mirror. For what it's worth, burgundy suited him pretty well. It must be thanks to his natural-born good looks. Sakusa should feel honored, really. Now it's time to charm the hell out of Sakusa and get one step closer to going home. By the time Atsumu arrived at the dining hall, he was already 10 minutes late. He pushed open the heavy doors and instantly spotted the dark-haired man sitting at the head of the table, sharp brows pulled into a frown so tight it looked like it had been carved in stone.
Warning. The capture target is not happy.
Wow, gotta give it to the system for pointing out the obvious.
Sakusa's affection level, 1% to 0%.
Well shit, is it that easy for Sakusa's affection to go down? This guy must be a real piece of work. If glares could kill, Atsumu would be dead already. You're late. I was gonna get here earlier, but I took some time cause I wanted to look good for ya. Sakusa eyes him from head to toe, slow and scrutinizing. Well, you do look less of an eyesore now. Fucking prick. Atsumu will have him know he's definitely eye candy.
Sakusa's affection level, 0% to 3%.
Aha, just like he thought, no one can resist the media Atsumu. He just has to butter this jerk up, and he'll be heads over heels for Atsumu soon enough. Atsumu just has to make sure not to fall for Sakusa, but that's clearly impossible. Atsumu's not gay and definitely hates Sakusa's guts. Even if Sakusa's face looked like it was sculpted by the gods, that wasn't nearly enough to make up for his attitude. The engagement party will start soon. After you eat, head to the ballroom immediately. That was the last thing Sakusa said before turning on his heel and walking out of the massive dining room, not even sparing Atsumu a second glance. And just like that, Atsumu was left sitting alone at the massive dining table, silverware too fancy, silence too loud. Seriously? That's it? Not even a hi or a good morning. Atsumu doesn't get it. Why would Sakusa marry him? He clearly didn't like Atsumu. Hell, he barely looked at him unless it was to glare at him. Who in their right mind would marry someone they just met, let alone someone they don't even like? Is this part of the plot? A familiar ding echoed in his head as the system window popped into view.
The story progression is determined by your actions and your relationship with the capture target.
So you're saying, this is all his choice? Atsumu stared blankly ahead as the thought sank in. Sakusa wanted to marry him, voluntarily, but, why? Before he could spiral too deep, the system replied with another message.
I suggest you start eating and head to the ballroom right away before you upset the capture target.
Right, Atsumu shouldn't piss Sakusa off. He very much preferred his head intact with his body. Grumbling under his breath, he stabs at the elegantly arranged food, barely tasting it as he chewed. By the time he was led to the ballroom, the double doors creaked open, announcing the arrival of His Majesty's consort, Takano Atsumu-sama. A sudden hush fell over the grand ballroom, broken only by the whisper of silk and rustling fabric as hundreds of heads turned toward him in eerie synchronization. Atsumu instantly froze, spine stiff as a board. People were whispering, and while he couldn't catch the words, he could feel the judgment, the curiosity, the not-so-subtle questioning of him being the one Sakusa had chosen. Atsumu usually thrived on attention, but not this kind. Not when the attention feels like he's being watched like some test subject in a lab. Then the sharp blast of a trumpet from the royal guard pierced through the hum of the ballroom, drawing the room into immediate silence. The engagement ceremony will now begin. Atsumu's pulse spikes at the announcement. He barely had time to react before Sakusa began striding toward him through the crowd. Why are you standing there like a fool? Atsumu blinks at him, speechless. Well, maybe because no one had bothered to tell him what the hell he was supposed to do at his own engagement ceremony. Sakusa steps in closer, raising one hand between them, palm open in a wordless gesture. Atsumu only stares at his hands cluelessly. Thankfully, the system window came to his rescue.
You're supposed to take his hand.
And do what? Atsumu's question is immediately answered by Sakusa. We're going to dance. Atsumu felt the blood drain from his face. Did Sakusa just say dance? Because Atsumu has no idea how to dance. If he fails at dancing, will he be beheaded? System, help me. Atsumu whispers softly. Do ya have something that can help me dance? The screen window before him flickers.
I'm not a god. I can't magically teach you how to dance. You're on your own.
Atsumu's eye twitches. This useless shitty system. He barely had time to finish cursing it out in his head before Sakusa's brows began to furrow, clearly running out of patience. Taking that as his final warning, Atsumu reaches out and grabs Sakusa's hand. Fake it till you make it, right? With a graceful pull, Sakusa guides Atsumu onto the center of the dance floor, the polished marble gleaming beneath their feet, and just as the music swelled, they began to move. Atsumu tries to move with him, but it doesn't take long before his foot lands squarely on Sakusa's. Atsumu winces, immediately peeking up at Sakusa's face, expecting a death glare, but Sakusa just stares at him, expression unreadable, and somehow, that was even worse. Atsumu feels bad. He really does. He wasn't doing this on purpose. He's kinda surprised that Sakusa's affection level hasn't plummeted into the negative digits yet. Then came the second foot stomp. Sorry, I don't really know how to dance, Your Majesty, Atsumu says apologetically, wanting the floor to open up and swallow him. I can tell, you're dancing like you have two left feet. Sakusa's gaze remained flat. but his tone didn't bite. Loosen up, just follow my lead. Sakusa adjusts their position slightly, his grip firm but not harsh. There was a subtle shift in the way he moved, more patient, more controlled, as if compensating for Atsumu's lack of skill without drawing attention. Atsumu took a breath, focusing less on the music and more on the movement of Sakusa's body, letting himself be guided step by step. Soon enough, Atsumu wasn't tripping over his feet or stepping on Sakusa's toes. He was dancing, a little clumsily, but at the very least functionally. "You're amazing," Atsumu says, breaking a smile, a genuine spark lighting up his face, clearly amazed at how his body was keeping up. "You're actually making me look like a really good dancer. Has anyone told you that you talk too much?" "Right." Atsumu almost forgot this was the kind of person Sakusa was. Still, with no snide system message or drop in affection points, Atsumu starts to feel just a little braver. "I'd like to think it's part of my irresistible charm." "I'd beg to differ." Atsumu only snorts. "Ya no, you can call me Atsumu. I only call people by their name if I like them." Was that Sakusa's way of saying that he didn't like Atsumu? Maybe, or maybe not yet. Atsumu figured it was just a matter of time. He doesn't let Sakusa's comment faze him. "Omi, then, can I call ya that? I like giving nicknames to people I like." Okay, maybe Atsumu is pushing it, but he doesn't want to call Sakusa Your Majesty every time he sees him. Plus, Omi is a cute nickname. "I can't?" Atsumu tilts his head, testing his luck. The slight furrow between Sakusa's brows deepens, and Atsumu already prepares himself for rejection. "Do as you wish." A second passes before a system notification appears.
Elevated heart rate detected.
And in the moment of surprise, Atsumu's foot came crashing down on Sakusa's again. Sorry." Sakusa gives him a look, flat and thoroughly unimpressed. He doesn't say anything and just releases Atsumu's hand as the music winds down. The dance ends. Atsumu stumbles slightly as they separate, blinking at the system window still hovering in the corner of his vision. Elevated heart rate? Seriously? Okay, sure. His heart skipped a beat just then, but that was only because Sakusa's answer caught him off guard. Atsumu has no time to dwell on his thoughts when a man, dressed in noble attire, approaches them with a respectful bow. "Greetings to His Majesty and his consort." Atsumu stiffened slightly at the title, consort. That still felt weird to hear. "May I have the honor of the next dance?" The noble was looking at Atsumu, extending a hand towards him. Now why the hell was this guy asking to dance with him? As if the system could read his mind, the system chimes in.
"It's noble etiquette to dance at least once with someone other than your partner."
So he is supposed to dance with him, right? Atsumu reluctantly starts to lift his hand until the screen flickers once again.
The capture target is watching your actions. Respond wisely.
From the corner of his eye, Atsumu can see the way Sakusa's eyes darken as his jaw tightened. That's definitely not a good sign. Without another thought, Atsumu retracts his hand. "Sorry, but I don't like dancing with anyone but Omi." The noble falters, his mouth parts slightly in clear shock at being turned down so directly. Still, he quickly recovers, offering a polite bow before retreating.
Sakusa's affection level, 3% to 7%.
Atsumu thought. So that's how you score points with Sakusa. The next piece of music begins to play, filling the ballroom. Pairs begin to step onto the dance floor, yet Sakusa doesn't move, keeping his gaze firm on Atsumu. "You should know it's considered rude to refuse a dance request." "Yeah, but why would I dance with someone else when I have ya?" Sakusa doesn't exactly smile, but his cheeks pull in just enough to reveal something unexpected. Dimples. Sakusa has dimples.
Elevated heart rate detected. Sakusa's affection level, 7% to 10%.
Fair enough, you'd only embarrass yourself if you danced with someone else. For a second, just a second, Atsumu nearly lets himself be charmed by Sakusa. Almost. It might be a good thing Sakusa's personality is as prickly as a sea urchin. Snapping out of his trance, Atsumu looks away, scrambling to change the subject. "So, are we dancing again, Omi? I'd rather not have my foot be stepped on again." So, no second dance. Instead, the two make their obligatory rounds across the ballroom, mingling, or, more accurately, surviving a barrage of greetings and congratulations from nobles whose names Atsumu can't remember and whose smiles feel just a bit too polished. Atsumu nods and laughs when appropriate, but internally, he's counting down the minutes until they can leave. Turns out engagement banquets are just fancy ways to sweat under layers of fabric while pretending to enjoy shallow conversations. That's why when Sakusa pulls him out of that suffocating ballroom, Atsumu nearly wanted to give Sakusa a hug. We're done for the day. Thank God, because Atsumu won't be able to last another hour doing whatever he did earlier. Just like during breakfast earlier, Sakusa doesn't wait. He turns on his heel and strides ahead, not sparing even a glance behind. Atsumu stays rooted for a second, watching his back. Figures. The moment Sakusa's done dealing with him, he drops him like an afterthought. Atsumu couldn't guess what the hell was going through his head even if he tried. Atsumu exhales, shaking off his irritation before the screen before him flashes red.
Warning. The capture target is in danger.
Before he can even process the thought, it happens all too quickly. 1 second, the royal guard is standing perfectly still by the doors, and the next, he's lunging forward with a blade, heading straight for Sakusa's back. Atsumu doesn't think, he just moves. He grabs Sakusa by the arm and yanks hard, dragging him back just as the weapon slices through the air. The blade misses by inches, whistling past where Sakusa's spine had been a heartbeat ago. The attacker stumbles, thrown off by the sudden miss. Sakusa doesn't flinch. He reaches for Atsumu and pulls him behind without a word, like this sort of thing happens all the time. In one clean motion, Sakusa disarms the guard with a twist of his wrist and sends the attacker crashing to the ground with a brutal blow to the jaw. The blade clatters across the floor. Atsumu's breathing hard, his heart hammering. Sakusa doesn't even look winded. Are you stupid? Excuse me? I just saved ya. Did I ask you to? Fuck, what an asshole. Instead of thank you, what Atsumu gets is this. Atsumu opens his mouth to retort, but he doesn't get the chance. In a blink of an eye, Sakusa draws his sword and, in one clean motion, slices through the traitor's neck. The guard's head drops with a dull thump. The body follows, crumpling to the floor. Blood gushes out, vivid and thick, spreading fast across the polished tiles like it's chasing Atsumu's shoes. Atsumu's mouth shuts so fast his teeth click. He instinctively steps back, nearly tripping over his own feet. He feels a little sick. Then Sakusa turns to him, sheathing his sword with that same calm look like he didn't just kill someone. Atsumu feels his gut twist. The distance between them shrinks fast, and before Atsumu can brace himself, Sakusa's hand is on his face, gripping his jaw, tilting it side to side like he's inspecting him. You don't seem to have any injuries. Sakusa says it like a casual observation, but it sends a chill down Atsumu's spine. I don't like it when something of mine is tainted by others.
Elevated heart rate detected.
No shit, the system should know this is fucking fear. Atsumu's eyes can't help but stare down at the corpse again, and he can feel his blood run cold. Sakusa must have sensed the way Atsumu tenses up when he asks, "What? Are you scared of me?" There's something dangerous in his tone and Atsumu's throat instantly goes dry. Atsumu knows this tone, knows he's balancing on a very thin line right now. One wrong word, and his head might end up next. I'm not scared of yet, but I'm scared of seeing people getting killed. And because he's Miya Atsumu, a man whose mouth runs faster than his brain even in the worst situations, he keeps going. It's gonna take a lot more than killing for me to stop loving ya. Omi. A pause. You're only good at running your mouth. Sakusa finally lets go of Atsumu's jaw, fingers leaving as abruptly as they came. Don't be late tomorrow, and don't try anything stupid like that again, Atsumu.
Elevated heart rate detected.
Atsumu really needs the system to shut up. He watches Sakusa disappear down the corridor, not sparing him a single look, his boots painting streaks of blood with every step on the cold floor. Atsumu finally exhales, shaky and uneven, like his lungs forgot how to work. A familiar screen flickers into view.
Sakusa's affection level, 10% to 15%.
He's at 15%, but he's already halfway to an early grave. Atsumu is definitely going to have nightmares tonight. Sakusa's lips pressed softly to Atsumu's neck, sending a ripple of shivers that blurred the line between fear and something dangerously close to desire. What are ya doing? Atsumu's voice trembles as Sakusa's breath whispers close. I'll be gentle. There was a dangerous softness in Sakusa's tone as he trailed kisses down Atsumu's collarbone. Say it. Say you're mine, Atsumu. Atsumu's breath hitches, muffled whimpers escaping as his hands clench tightly at the fabric of Sakusa's shirt. Tell me who you belong to. I'm all yours, Omi. Atsumu replies softly, but audible enough for Sakusa to hear. A smile curved Sakusa's lips, the dimples deepening in a way that made Atsumu's heart flip. You look so damn beautiful like this. Sakusa's fingers traced over the kiss marks he'd left all over Atsumu's skin, each touch slow and deliberate. Especially when my marks are all over you. The softness in Sakusa's eyes shifted, darkening into something more dangerous. His grip on Atsumu's waist tightened, pulling him so close there was no room left to breathe. His voice dropped to a low whisper, vibrating right against Atsumu's ear. Don't even think about running away from me, Atsumu. Suddenly, Atsumu jolts awake, heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst through his chest. Sweat slicked his skin, and his breaths came fast and uneven. A burning heat pooled low between his legs. His eyes instinctively drift down, and sure enough, there it was, morning wood. Fuck. A system window then pops into view, smug and glowing.
Not gay, my ass.
To be continued.